Gachanja. Now, the National Assembly's one-month window period for the Kenya Medical Association to look into new proposals that will guide the fees charged by doctors has run out, and the umbrella body has been in a special National Governing Council meeting all morning. And as we speak, they are preparing to address the media, and our reporter Eunice Omolo is following up on the same. And we are also at the popular Maasai Market within Nairobi's Central's business district, which was temporarily shut down this morning following a dispute over daily charges between traders and county government officials. Our reporter Helen Aura will be joining us from that Kenyatta Market. But for now, the National Assembly's one-month window period for the Kenya Medical Association to look into new proposals that will guide the fees charged by doctors has run out. KMA had rejected attempts by the government to impose the new rules, saying the implementation will inevitably violate the rights of private practitioners to earn a decent living and that it will undermine the self-regulation mechanisms. Now, the umbrella body, as I said, has been in a special National Governing Council meeting this morning, and top on the agenda was a proposed changes to the rules governing private practice professional fees. And as I mentioned, they are now addressing the media. Let's listen in.
Is here, the Vice Chair. The Secretary General of the Doctors Union is here, the members of the Governing Council, the leadership of the other professional associations are here. And I will now let Dr. Jacqueline Kitulu, the President of Kenya Medical Association, to read the statement. Thank you.
Good afternoon. So these are resolutions for the Special National Governing Council meeting held today on the 5th of January. The Kenya Medical Association National Governing Council, at its special meeting held at KMA Center today, attended by the leadership of Kenya Dental Association, Pharmaceutical Society of Kenya, Kenya Medical, KMPDU, and all specialist medical associations, considered, deliberated, and made the following resolutions. 1. On the status of the health sector and KMA's role in the implementation of universal health coverage, the association fully supports a national rollout of universal health coverage, which must be of good quality, public-led, tax-funded, and in public health facilities. 2. On the proposed changes to the rules governing private practice professional fees. 1. We consider the ongoing process of reviewing doctors' private practice professional fees to be rushed and with inadequate input from the professionals. 2. The association is willing to enter into a broad-based discussion on total healthcare costs, not limited to private practitioners' professional fees only, but the whole value chain in the whole health, in the costing of healthcare. 3. We shall therefore not participate in the stakeholders meeting scheduled for Tuesday, 8th of January. We, as all the members here today, I will reiterate, shall not participate in the stakeholders meeting scheduled for Tuesday, 8th of January, and advise all our members to stay away from this meeting. The process under which it is undertaken is quite flawed, and we shall not participate in a flawed process. The association would like the government to clarify the relationship between UHC and private practice healthcare providers. On the third item, on the involvement of local and foreign mid-level health practitioners and unqualified persons in medical practice in Kenya. The association expresses dissatisfaction on the methodology of engagement, registration, and licensing of foreign healthcare practitioners whose qualifications are unclear. The association shall in the coming weeks propose legislation to deal summarily with charlatans and unqualified actors who put Kenyans' lives at risk and get away with only a slap on the wrist. The association notes with regret the recent trend in which unqualified persons are influencing legislation in order to classify themselves as professionals, when in fact they are mid-level healthcare practitioners with important roles in the sector. The association shall vigorously oppose these attempts to misrepresent mid-level healthcare professionals as professionals, and in this regard, the association shall work closely with sister professional associations to address the matter. In this connection, the association issues the following advisory to all medical and dental practitioners. The Code of Professional Conduct and Discipline, revised in 2012, for medical and dental practitioners in Kenya, expressly prohibits handing over responsibility for patients to unqualified persons. This is Chapter 4, Section 14B of the Code. Practitioners are advised to adhere to this code and are cautioned that the association shall not protect any practitioner who breaches this provision. 4. On the changing regulatory environment under the new Health Act, the association demands the immediate operationalization of the Act, and in particular the appointment of members of the oversight and regulatory authorities created by the Act in order to streamline operations in the sector. The association expresses concern over the recent passed amendments in various amendment acts, whose import is to entrench harmful practices in the health sector and expose Kenyans to poor quality health care. The association shall work closely with sister professional associations, including the Pharmaceutical Society, to oppose such legislative changes and protect Kenyans from potentially harmful practices. Finally, on conditions for a harmonious coexistence with other players in the health sector. 1. The association urges Parliament to enact legislation providing for a health service commission. Again, I will repeat. The association urges Parliament to enact legislation providing for a health service commission to comprehensively manage human resources for health in this country. 2, the association pledges to work closely with sister professional associations in setting standards for quality care for all Kenyans within the scope of professional practice for all cadres in the healthcare sector. The association pledges to support our colleagues in other cadres in the sector to strengthen themselves in order to protect Kenyans from charlatans and unqualified practitioners. The association urges other health professional associations and societies to clarify to their members the recognized scope of professional practice and to support their members to provide the highest attainable care within the scope of practice as envisioned in the Constitution of Kenya. The association urges the government to take concrete steps to end the training of mid-level healthcare practitioners, where the main profession in the cadre has large numbers of practitioners, and to support the mid-level healthcare practitioners to transition into the respective professions. So signed this 5th of January by myself, the president of the Kenya Medical Association, Dr. Kitulu, and all the other associations here today, the Kenya Dental Association, the Union, and all the specialist associations. Thank you.
Questions?
Why, I have a question in regards to the regulation of the professional fees, the private professional fees by the doctors. Why exactly are you rejecting the proposals to have it changed or amended, taken back to the 2006 proposed fees?
And I think we had communicated on this earlier on in a presser, that the current guidelines and what are the rules, not guidelines. So 2006 were guidelines, but what we presently have, and which is enacted and passed and gazetted by the CS, are the rules of 2016. So that in law is what obtains. There is a clear process set within the professional association, within the Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Board for reviewing those guidelines. And that is why we go back to our statement that indeed we are very willing as the association to participate in a broad-based discussion. If we are talking about ensuring that costs are reduced, we must discuss all the way from the hospital costs, the inputs, the medications. We cannot focus on just one unit, which is a service provider, and yet the healthcare costs abound in several areas. And actually moving on further from that, in the discussion of universal health coverage, as it has been rolled out, and that is an area we are highly supporting. And we say this is the role of government. When government says in the Constitution that it guarantees you health of the highest attainable level, That is what government should be providing. That is what we are actually calling on parliamentarians, on consumer organizations, that they should put our government to task to ensure that the public health facilities have everything they require. That is in the Constitution, the government guarantees you that. So we are fully supportive of that. Our members are providers in there, but that is a process that has to be facilitated and ensuring that government is public facilities where each and every mwananchi should be able to walk in and get good quality care. So we are not talking about quantity of care, we are also talking about quality of care. That is our focus as professionals, that the public get good quality health care. And we fully support the UHC rollout, but on the discussion of professional fees, which is a separate issue, we would like to have that discussion in the broader context of cost of health care and look at it broadly and deal with the problem as one package with a clear solution and not sort of touching piecemeal on issues that will not have a total effect on the cost of health care.
In your opinion, what do you think is, how practical do you think UHC is in comparison to what you've seen concerning NHIF and the gaps that have been there, the scandals? And right now, like if you have a card and you go to, let's say, a private medical facility, they'll tell you only take those ones from civil servants and the armed forces.
Okay, so going back onto the present rollout of UHC. So the model that has been rolled out is actually quite different from what was initially envisaged and discussed under NHIF. So if you realize the present rollout in the 4 counties where UHC has been rolled out, it is public facility-based, it is tax-funded. So the funds that taxpayers pay and are apportioned to the healthcare sector are going to take care of the costs. Now, the difference with the previous plan to have NHIF as the vehicle for UHC, you realize that it means that to obtain services for NHIF, you must be able to pay into it. So then what happens then to the vast majority of the poor people who cannot afford to pay? Then it means you have cut them out from obtaining services. When you talk about universal, it means across the board. As soon as you say, I cannot pay into the process, then it means then you cannot obtain the service. Yeah. So indeed, we discussed this with the CS for Health, Honorable Cicely Kariuki, when she told us about the new rollout. And we said that is a position as KMA and as the various associations we have supported always, that it needs to be tax-based. The funds come in and in public facilities and ensures that everybody, you and I, can step into a facility and get good quality health care. So NHIF on its own, yes, can be as one of the strategic purchasers like any of the other insurers, but then it means you do not cut off those who are unable to pay into it. Mm-hmm. Yes.
But since the rollout is working now, because that was since last month and the presentation.
Okay, so in terms of the rollout, I think that one, indeed it was just rolled out on the 13th of December, following World UHC Day of 12th of December. And I think on that part, we will leave government to answer that. It is there, it is in there, it is there, baby, and we fully support it. And I think we would like to, they've given themselves like a 3-month run so that they can give feedback to us. So I think it would be premature for me to comment on that, but definitely it has been rolled out. And we have our members here from Machakos County. Our Treasurer General is working in Machakos County. She can attest to it that yes, UHC has been rolled out there.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, we have been listening in to the president of the Kenya National Medical Association, Jacqueline Kitulu, even after they ended that National Governing Council meeting that was held all morning. And top on the agenda was the proposed changes to the rules governing private practice professional fees. They have put out a few resolutions, some of them including to do with the fees mentioned, and they have said they also consider that review on private practice practice practitioners' fees should be rushed. They have also said they will not participate in a stakeholders meeting that is scheduled for Tuesday the 8th that is supposed to look into those new proposals that will guide fees charged by doctors, saying that meeting is harried and not consultative. And of course, they have put the government to task to clarify the role of universal healthcare and private practice practitioners. More details coming out of that press conference. Our reporter, that is Eunice Omolo, is following up on the same. Now, across to the CBD, and the popular Maasai Market within Nairobi Central Business District was temporarily shut this morning following a dispute over daily charges between traders and county government officials. The county had raised the charges to 1,000 shillings from 50 shillings. The market was eventually reopened after an agreement was reached, and the market is a major tourist attraction. Helen Aura now joins us live with more details.
There was a standoff today morning at the Kenyatta Market, at the Maasai Market here next to the Judiciary grounds, where traders were told that the fee now will be raised from 50 shillings to 1,000 shillings. The traders allege that they're not going to follow this new order that has come in, and I'm even joined by some traders who are willing even to explain the situation on the ground. Ma'am, tueleze zaidi nini ilikuwa inaendelea leo?
Hii maneno ya leo tulikuta barua kama zimeandikwa last week, zimepandikwa hapa kwa soko. Sinasema kuanzia new year tutakuwa tukilipa 1,000. Wakati tulizipata tulistuka, kwa sababu unaweza kuja hapa ukae kutoka asubuhi mpaka jioni ujapata customer. Hata ile 50 walitupatia tukuwe tukilipa, hata tunakosanga. Sasa tulikuwa tumeshindwa tutaanzia wapi na tutamalizia wapi. Tena saa ingine hii soko, tukiwa hapa sokoni kukiwa na mvua, tule tu vitu tunanyeshewa, kwa sababu hii vitu zingine ni za makaratasi, zingine ni za mangozi za ng'ombe, sikinyeshewa sinanuka. Tunanyeshewa na hii soko yetu tunaringa nayo kwa sababu ndio Kenya. Wageni wakitoka nje wakija Kenya lazima waingie Maasai Market. Ukitembea kwa kila mahoteli utakuta iko ndovu, zebra zinawekwa kwa mahoteli. Hata ukienda State House, hata ukienda wapi utakuta vitu za Maasai Market. Zile manecklaces zinavaliwa, wanatoka nje wanakuja kununua Maasai Market. Hata kama hatuuzi tunalinga, kwa sababu hizo vitu ni za kupatia inji yetu heshima. Ile vitu inatengenezwa na ile kitu kinafanya ni shukuru Mungu ni kwa sababu Biblia inasema ati kazi ya mikono yetu imebarikiwa. Sasa tunatafuta tutabarikiwaje. Naomba serikali itujalie Maasai Market, kwa sababu Maasai Market kuko na wajane, mama wazee wanaenda na tumiti, wanabeba vitu huko Masaini na huko Ukambani. Wengine wanatoka Wamunyu, wengine wanatoka Thika, wanatoka kila mahali, na saa ingine wanakosa basi ya kurudi nyumbani. Kwa sababu hata iko watu wengine wanakuja kutoka nje wanaingia hii soko, na tukiwaongelesha wako na umang'aa. Sasa sisi wenyewe tunaunda hizi vitu tunakosa kuuza kwa sababu ya watu wamejaa sana. Naomba serikali itutafutie namna vile tunaweza kuwa mahali tunaweza kujifungia na kufungia vitu zetu siwaje kunyeshewa. Kwa sababu kama ni kofia, kama ni mashati, sikinyeshewa tukifua asiwezi uzwa. Kwa hivyo maombi ni serikali ituonee huruma.
Well, Gladys, there has been also a source that has informed us that this particular section of land also could have been leased to a private developer, hence now the fee being increased to 1,000 shillings. But as of today, the traders reached an agreement to pay 200 shillings, but we are yet to know whether the 200 shilling is the standard fee that now the traders will be paying from today. And as we're speaking right now, some of the officials of the market are still in a deliberated meeting with some of the officials from the county government to see the way forward. Back to you, studio.
Helena was speaking to us from the popular Maasai Market within Nairobi Central Business District. There was a standoff earlier on in the day when the market was temporarily shut down over the fees. The county had hiked the fees to 1,000 shillings, up from 50 shillings, and they seem to have agreed to 200 shillings, but deliberations continue over the same, and Helen will be giving us more perspective in our subsequent bulletins. Now to education matters. Some parents and students continue to register their displeasure over the admission of Form 1s through the National Education Management Information System. The directive from the Ministry of Education seeks to account for every child who should be in school, as all placement and admissions must be done through the system.
I think it is not practical at this time and age, because we have many schools which are developed, which could be nearby the home areas of these students. And the students, together with their parents, should be given the opportunity and the free will to be able to choose the schools where they think their children can be able to attend school.
An administration police constable in Baringo was rushed to hospital for treatment after he stabbed himself in unclear circumstances. Constable Patrick Wekesa, based at the Captain Bor police post, is said to have stabbed himself twice on the right and left side of his chest after he received news of his transfer from Baringo governor's official residence on Friday. The officer, who was not pleased with the duty changes, is said to have locked himself in his house at Captain Bor, where he turned the blade on himself. He was rescued by fellow officers after he started screaming in pain.
Yes, I wanted. Yes, sir.
To Malindi now, and the MP there, Aisha Jumwa, has unveiled her constituency development plan that she says will go a long way in improving the quality of life in the area. Among the projects that she shared with her constituents include the construction of Juakali sheds and also the deliberate investment in the tourism industry. Jumwa also announced that the government plans to construct factories to create jobs for the youth. She says that this has been made possible by the handshake between President Uhuru Kenyatta and ODM party leader Raila Odinga.
Na ninashukuru mipango hiyo yote ni kwa sababu gani? Ya handshake. Manake ilikuwa sinusi mimi huko serikalini, lakini sasa nanusa huko serikalini. Kwa hivyo sitaona aibu wala sitaona haya. Watakaosema na waseme, lakini matendo yangu yatanihukumu baada ya miaka 5 ndani ya Malindi.
The United States Senate has voted to confirm Kyle McCarthy as Washington's new envoy to Kenya, ending a long and difficult political process that began last year. The 56-year-old founder of a Kenya-based charity secured the post 9 months after he had been nominated by President Donald Trump as a successor to Ambassador Robert Godek. Several Democratic members of the Republican-controlled Senate had earlier expressed strong opposition to McCarthy's conservative views on gay rights and his tweet on election night in 2016 suggesting that Hillary Clinton be sent to prison. No roll call vote was taken on Thursday, with senators approving McCarthy's nomination by a voice vote. McCarthy is said to be a fluent Swahili speaker, and he served for 10 years as a Republican member of the Illinois state legislature. Further afield, presidential election results in the Democratic Republic of Congo may not be released on Sunday, January the 6th, as expected, after delays in getting local tallies ready for central counting. Tallying centers in Kinshasa began compiling results on Friday, with only 20% of the results being received by the Electoral Commission. Pre-election polling showed the main opposition candidates, that's Martin Fayulu and Felix Tshisekedi, ahead of ex-Interior Minister Emmanuel Ramazani Shadari, who is former DRC President Joseph Kabila's preferred candidate. The Catholic Church's Bishops' Conference stated that vote tallies showed a clear winner, a pronouncement widely seen as a warning to authorities against rigging the vote. The church is one of Congo's most trusted institutions and represents about 40% of its 80 million population. Back to the States, and President Donald Trump and senior Democrats failed to strike a deal in talks on Friday to end a partial shutdown of the U.S. government as they again fought over Trump's request for $5 billion to fund his signature wall on the Mexican border. After Democratic congressional leaders turned Trump down at a meeting in the White House Situation Room, the Republican president threatened to take the controversial step of using emergency powers to build the wall without approval from Congress. Trump is withholding his support for a bill that would fully fund the government until he secures the money for the wall, and as a result, about 800,000 federal workers have been unpaid due to the closure of about a quarter of the federal government. Administration officials led by Vice President Mike Pence and congressional staffers are to meet during the weekend to try to end the impasse over the 2-week-old shutdown.
Thank you. I can speak for Republicans in the House and Republicans in the Senate. They feel very strongly about having a safe country, having a border that makes sense. Without borders, I've said it many times, we don't have a country. I hope it doesn't go on even beyond a few more days. It really could open very quickly.
Back home, something is cooking in central Kenya, and alcohol, it seems, has everything to do with it. A drunken mind, they say, speaks sober words, a phrase some in the region are latching on. It's all about the fact that their cash crop is no longer profitable, and as Aisha Jumwa reports on Bullseye, new year, but old ways persist amid a frenzied search for political correctness and survival.
Mimi niko kwa naibu ya rais kwa bedroom hapo katikati hapo.
Who is this man who lives in another man's bedroom?
Ati mbunge wa Kimilili anaitwa Didmas Barasa.
And we hear he spends most of his time addressing barazas.
Saizi ukimutafuta utasikia ameenda kule Vihiga kutangatanga na Ruto.
What's the baraza about on this day, baraza?
Hata kama ni hao vijana kuoa wanawake mbili na wale wanaamka asubuhi wanapiga kura, tutafanya hivyo, tuko tayari kufanya mipango hiyo.
Utasimamisha namna gani mbwa ambaye aliye njaa kutopiga kelele ili mtu ambaye ana mfupa aitupie?
Oops, never mind.
Hiyo ndio mimi nataka viongozi wenzangu.
And mama, we hear there are different types of political dogs.
Tuna ile umbwa mzuri sana, inajua kunusa sana. Tuko na ingine inajua kuuma. Na tuko na ingine inajua kutisha.
I wonder what types of dodgy character baraza could be.
Mimi niko kwa naibu ya rais kwa bedroom.
That I would say could pass for a guard dog. The hounds are out and the hunt is on. The son of Samuel is hunting hard. And Agwambo too is targeting something. Something we do not know yet, but we can only assume that when he gets it, it would enable him assume this kind of position.
Wacha Raila atembee tu akifikiria ngoja utaona. Hey.
During these early hunting days, arrows are thrown in numbers. Some land.
Musali akuja ambie wakulima wa miwa wale walikuwa wanapeleka Mumias Sugar Company aseme yeye alilipwa kama nani 380 million Kenya shillings.
Honestly, that is absolute nonsense. There's nothing to say to that. I won't respond to nonsense.
This fire is intense to the west of Kenya. Call it friendly fire. It's all about branding. See, now that doctorate is political arsenal. It has assumed its rightful place in the order of things.
Welcome to the club of PhD. Pata udaktari, don't go to the university to teach. Become the president and teach us.
But it was truly a happy new year for Moses.
Basi leo hata nikiwaambia jambo msilichukulie serious sana.
Say it and let's decide.
Mfikirie sana. Mfanye nini?
Hii mambo kazi yetu ni kupiga kura. Baada ya kupiga kura, maendeleo tunapatiana kwingine. Hiyo ujinga tuache. Hiyo ujinga tufanya nini? Hiyo ujinga tufanya nini?
Moses hapendi ujinga. Now that we take seriously.
Ninaona katika hiyo clip pale alikuwa anaongea kule Thika ni kama alikuwa amechapa vikombe za pombe. Na kwa sababu mimi ninafanya kazi ya kuwasaidia vijana ambao wamelewa sana, ningetaka kumuuliza kwa heshima rafiki yangu MK, tafadhali kuja kule kwa Mama Care Rehabilitation Center, nitakuwekea kitanda lakini hakuna special beds, nitakupatia ordinary bed, ulale hapo siku 5, siku 7, upatiwe dawa na chakula, uache kuongea matope wakati umelewa.
They are now competing among each other. Nani atakuwa na walevi wengi? Nani ako na walevi wanono? Sasa ni vita ya walevi between wa Mushopa na Waititu. Hiyo ndio kazi tuko nayo. Jameni.
You'll not push Moses into the wilderness. To understand his frustration, listen to this.
Huko kwetu Gatundu tunasemanga tuko na cash crop mbili. Sio kahawa na sio majani chai. Cash crop ni kuproduce viongozi kama marais.
And cash crops bring forth cash, rewards, maendeleo. Not just rehabilitation centers for drunkards, right?
Viongozi wa shenzi.
We need divine intervention. This is when he's really good. Choir Master Dr. William Samuel Arap Ruto. By the way, there has also been this debate about numbers and resources.
Most of you are busy having good time in bus. We are busy in Martha's bedroom.
And I've received a lot of messages saying that people in Northeastern have 7 children, 9 children. Fine, that's great.
Anything Moses Kuria regrets this early in the year?
I don't regret the meaning. Don't even take me there. Which part of my statement did you understand? I have cried if I do everything. Wewe ni kasisi, uniulize kama nimetubu.
Boom! Emmanuel Juma, Bullseye, NTV.
Niaje. Want to invest in a biashara?
March scheduled for this Saturday, with 2009 champion Sofapaka welcoming in form Tusker to the Kenyatta Stadium in Machakos, while Batoto Bamungu coach Medom Ellis will be seeking a return to winning ways after settling for a 1-1 draw away to Western Stima last weekend. Robert Matano coached Tusker will be looking to brew more success after beating Nakumatt 3-0 last time out. A win could take Tusker top, while a win for 10th place Sofapaka could move them up 5 places. Cinema FC from Maringo will battle it out against Githurai United from Githurai Estate in this year's final of the Koth Biro football tournament at 3 p.m. at the Umeme grounds in Ziwani. Cinema qualified for the final after banding out Bundes FC from Dagoretti 4-2 on post-match penalties following a barren draw in normal time. Now, Cinema goalkeeper Eric Ogwade was a hero after saving 2 penalties, and this as Githurai United stormed the final for the first time after edging out Kingston FC by a solitary goal. Defending champion South B Combined were knocked out at the group stage level, as were regulars Black Mamba, Puretto and Nyoi. Koth Biro, which is Kenya's longest-running off-season football tournament, is celebrating its 40th year anniversary.
Footballers in Kenya have passed through here, and the other 20% who are probably from other parts of the country, they always come back, they always come and play for different teams here. So this is a pitch where all big names, Victor Wanyama, he played for Nyoi. He scored a wonderful thunderbolt from the center of the field before he went to Europe the first time. His brother, McDonald Mariga, played for Opitos. We have Arnold Origi, who is also one of our tournament sponsors. He sponsors the goalkeeper of the year. He played here. He played for Pumwani. Jamal Mohammed, Humphrey Mieno consistently plays for Opitos.
Tottenham Hotspur got the FA Cup third round weekend off. Much more coming your way in our comprehensive bulletins at 7 p.m. and at 9 p.m. Have a good afternoon. My name is Gladys Gachanja.